All right, we're back up on Twitch. YouTube is still booting up right now. this is it was almost perfect, but
We were almost there.
we almost had a flawless show, no technical problems. Everything started on time. Everything was Gucci, and then boom, my internet abruptly cut off for a couple of seconds. Literally just a couple of seconds. Like it's tied to my VPN. Maybe it was my VPN. My VPN crashed, and there was literally no internet for like a couple of seconds. But now we're back. So if you're still here, we're still live. We'll finish up. I did want to move on to the Marvel film section, because we still got to do our no spoiler review. Jay, of course, did not see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 yet, but he will.
Yeah, I'll probably see it Monday. My yard looks like a jungle right now. So Monday we're gonna do some yard work, and then
racist.
I mean, it's my yard, so then we're gonna probably go see Guardians.
Right. Well, I for one, I'll just start. This is going to be, of course, a non-spoiler review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but I saw it earlier today. I was on the high seas, and when I was watching it, I didn't want to brave the trip to the theater this time around, but I wanted to get it in before I saw the show. I wanted to avoid spoilers, so I was like, you know what, it's the last Guardians. Let's get it. So I ordered some food and watched it, and I loved it. It was incredible. And for those that don't know, I'm known as kind of a harsh critic. I don't think I'm that harsh. I just think I have standards, and as a writer, and I have a more of a critical mind. So I'll notice things about a movie or a show that someone more casually watching probably wouldn't pick up on, because they're just kind of shutting their brain off and just kind of enjoying it. Whereas I'm enjoying it, but also noticing, that's cliche, or I know how this is about to play out. This is how you generally do it, stuff like that. So for me, obviously, the last phase of Marvel has been pretty rough, because they put out a lot of mid and some absolute dog water. And oh boy, when I tell you, Guardians 3 was a breath of fresh air. It was by no means a perfect movie. There was definitely some stuff that I had an issue with. I thought they completely ruined Adam Warlock, which is what I was expecting. But once very big waste, in my opinion. Adam Warlock could have been huge for the MCU if they did it properly, but he was used pretty much how I expected him to be used in the movie. He's basically another Drax. That's kind of their thing. And there was some issues where James Gunn went a little James Gunn, like there was a lot of humor, a lot of stuff, but when I tell you the emotional beats and the core, oh my, like especially if you're like really sensitive to like animal stuff, this movie will make you cry buckets. I mean, the decision to make this about Rocket Raccoon, great idea. He has an absolute tragic backstory. Bradley Cooper's acting was tremendous. His whole basically most of the movie is a flashback to Rocket's past, seeing his origin story, and they're trying to save him, and it's so good. It's some of the best acting, some of the best writing we've seen in the MCU since Infinity War. It's it's tremendous. I mean, the obviously no spoilers, but there was one part I'm literally sitting here in my home office watching this, and they just got me. I just start I just my eyes just start going. I was like,
I don't believe Sadat the Gamer cries. Stop it.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Sadat the Gamer
that's worse than the spoiler.
Can shed tears. It has been known to happen. It's rare. Usually only happens when I watch a really sad anime, or anime with a really, emotional moment. But for the first time ever, a Marvel movie made me cry. It never came close to happening before. And that alone to me catapults Guardians into my top 3 all-time favorite Marvel movies. It was fantastic. Easily better than the second one. It's been a long time since I've seen the first one, but maybe the first one was better overall in terms of consistency and writing, but the Rocket story alone, the Rocket arc alone, destroys every other Marvel. Like it's unbelievable how they pulled that off. I was checking the credits to make sure James Gunn actually wrote this. I was like, because I was having a hard time believing. There's definitely some beats where they could have, expanded on the tension and emotion. There was a little bit of the whole kind of rushing through potentially, tragedy, because we got to get to the next joke, got to get to, very Marvel. But overall, they did a absolutely fantastic job with Guardians. A lot of obviously it was like I've heard this critique that this was kind of like Thor Love and Thunder in that he went full James Gunn, kind of like how Taika went full Taika, except this ended up actually being good. Whereas Love and Thunder was absolute dog water. This is definitely James Gunn at his James Gundus, but he also did, I think, pulled off some stuff where he definitely improved on in previous films. Like just Drax alone, I think he took that kind of the criticism to heart, because to me the Guardians of the Galaxy game is still much better story wise than the MCU portrayal. But even Bautista was complaining about the treatment of Drax in the films previously, and I kind of think Gunn took that to heart a little bit, because they actually redeem Drax really well in this. He has some very great and important moments in the story, and one bit at the end that was, I thought, a fantastic touch. And holy, the villain. All
right, we're bordering on setting expectations for me, so I'm trying to actually actively tune you out.
This is for the chat anyway, and the YouTube and Twitch audience. But the High Evolutionary. Now I saw people complaining on Twitter, and James Gunn rightfully dunked on them because they got a black actor to play the High Evolutionary, who's an alien. So who gives a shit what race he is? It doesn't matter. And Gunn said that we didn't. He's literally generally green anyway. Who cares? Literally anyone could have played the role if they went full comic accurate, because it's an alien. But the actor that they got for High Evolutionary, amazing.
He was in Peacemaker, right?
Yes, he was. He played
Peacemaker.
He played who was it? He was one of the alien. He was one of the alien. He was
he was working with Peacemaker.
Yeah. His name is difficult to pronounce. I actually looked it up earlier, so if I if I see it, I'll be able to pronounce it like an expert, probably. Guardians of the Galaxy, because I want to give this man his flowers because this is easily one of the best villains we've ever seen in the MCU. Chukwudi Oweji. Chukwudi Oweji is played the High Evolutionary. It's Nigerian, and let me tell you, I tweeted this earlier, but if we're replacing Jonathan Majors, get him. get him. Like this is one of the issues we've seen kind of with some of the Marvel villains and Disney in general is like this whole thing where we can't have a villain just be just a bad person. It has to be something redeemable about them. Like, oh, they have to have a tragic backstory, or they were really oppressed, and you know, like it's important that the villain believes they're the hero of their own story, but you don't need to go out of their way to make them kind of look like an anti-hero. And James Gunn understood that assignment because the High Evolutionary firmly believes he is the hero of his own story, but he is irredeemably a monster. He's a terrible person. He is horrible in every way imaginable. You will despise this character, but also respect him. Like, he's powerful. He's clearly unhinged in some areas. He's cunning. He's clever. He's legitimately intimidating. He did a phenomenal job. He even got some really great lines in there, and he delivered everything perfectly. They knocked this one out of the park. He might actually be my favorite MCU villain so far, I think. Definitely better than Killmonger, and his performance was definitely better than Thanos. And way better than Kang. Like it was so well done. I think, unfortunately, as we're seeing, Guardians looks like it's projected to open at 110 million, which puts it below the previous films. And I wouldn't be surprised. I hope the word of mouth is good on this and it spreads, but we're seeing, these diminishing returns because Marvel has put up so many duds in terms of quality that there's no momentum. And I think momentum definitely is important when it comes to these in particular, because we saw how powerful that was in previous phases. Captain Marvel was able to easily pull in $1 billion just by nature of coming right before Endgame. No Way Home went crazy over $1 billion, and that bled into Multiverse of Madness, which unfortunately wasn't high quality enough to carry that, but it still ended up putting up some numbers despite that. But we've seen the numbers tick down and down and down as the quality of the projects kept going down and down. So you have a bunch of people that maybe saw Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and were like, oh, Marvel may have lost it. Even though they really may have been like the previous Guardians movies, they've been like, I don't know about this. And it might have been hesitant, but it's possible that the audience reception will carry this to more of a bounce back and give us some legs. Otherwise, this movie might potentially top out at 600, maybe 700 million, which would be considered a failure for Marvel. In this case, I don't think it would have deserved, to do numbers in the Quantumania range. I did think it was really good, but I do understand why people may be hesitant to go see Marvel movies right now, because the quality has just not been there. But this is a really good movie that I think people enjoy. So I would definitely recommend just going out and giving it a look, because I thought it was a really good way to wrap up the whole Guardians saga. Definitely not by no means perfect, and we'll get into more details next week when we, after J season, after we're able to get into the spoilers. But I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I will gladly watch it again.
Well, that's encouraging to hear, at least, because like I know that you're definitely harder on things than I am.
Yes,
I generally just go in and just enjoy stuff, or find a way to enjoy it. And when that's glowing for you. So that's something to get me excited.
And you have a dog too. You're going this movie's going to destroy you. This is going to destroy you. Oh boy, you're gonna be sitting next to your wife bawling. I just
let her see it then.
I actually thought Miller made a great point on Twitter. He said he wished that Black Widow's movie could have said something about human trafficking the way Guardians said something about animal cruelty, and that's 100% the case. This was a very clear example of how you have kind of a message in your movie without being preachy and over the top. Like, Black Widow was obviously horrible for many reasons, but one of the ways it failed, I thought, was taking an issue as serious as human trafficking, especially involving young women, and just kind of just fumbling it, even trivializing, by the end, the woman who willingly helped enslave these widows is getting hugs like everything's okay because she agreed at the end, oh yeah, I'll help you take down the big bad man who smells weird and prevent you from hitting him. Like, it's and I just felt they could have, if they had a good writer, they could have really did something special with that movie. And just looking at how Guardians played the animal cruelty thing, I thought they did a tremendous service to that topic, and it completely served the movie. It gave us a better understanding of Rocket and everything he went through, and it really elevated the film. I absolutely loved it, and I do hope the MCU, now that James Gunn is leaving for the DCU, I think that gives us some encouragement about what to expect, but also there's definitely some questions about what Marvel is going to be doing, and there are some I want to completely dump on Marvel, because even though I think the Marvels is probably going to flop horribly, we are seeing some signs that they at least understand that there is an issue, a fundamental issue.
Was it Bob Iger came back? So I mean, I feel like
no faith in that. But
though, and I think I just think the leadership was devoid with what they just had, and him coming back seems to, like, he seems to be saying the right things.
We'll see. We'll see if it's done. And to be fair, this is I saw his article. I thought, oh, this is definitely encouraging. Reportedly, the studio is investing a lot more in writing. Like, these are all really good signs. So they said within the last month, the studio brought on 3 new writers to rewrite upcoming movies that aren't in production. So they brought the True Detective creator Nick Pizzolatto to replace Michael Starberry for Blade. They brought in Way of the Water writer Josh Friedman for Fantastic Four to replace Kaplan and Springer, and they're bringing in Lee Sung-jin from Beef, which fantastic show, to replace Eric Pearson on Thunderbolts. We also saw that they're apparently looking to hire more seasoned directors. So I mean, you would think all this is common sense, but it's Hollywood, so. But yeah, Marvel was making it a habit of hiring inexperienced writers and directors to helm these huge 50 million, 100, $200 million projects, and then giving the shock Pikachu face when they fall flat. And it's like, well, yeah.
Well, let me tell you, earlier this week there were some rumors about Fantastic forecasting.
Yeah.
And Mila Kunis as Ben Grimm the Thing.
Oh no.
And
I didn't hear that one.
Fortunately, she shot it down. She said that she did have lunch with the director, and she does know who's been cast, but that she is not involved. But like there were actual rumors this week that she was going to be the Thing, and there were actually absolute fucking dorks like saying, "Yeah, let's do it." And it's like, no,
absolutely not.
Okay. There are some characters that you can gender bend, and I'm going to be like, fine. The Thing is not one of them, okay? And I don't want to hear it from these nerds. Well, there was a she thing. Shut up.
Jay does not want any women in his
No, no. I think honestly, that's one of those things where there's this thing where everybody's like, oh, the MCU, blah 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 blah, and it would have been hard to dispute if Benjamin Grimm ended up being Thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think even the MCU itself is disputing that MCU thing. they kind of were forced to embrace it because I mean, obviously, just literally look at it. But yeah, that not great. Like Margot Robbie as Sue Storm was interesting. Adam Driver as Mr. Fantastic, potentially interesting, but
over that.
Yeah, let's not. Let's not do Lady Grimm.
Okay. I was gonna say I actually like as I saw the Adam Driver and Margot Robbie, and I'm like, oh, okay, those are pretty good.
I will never say no to Margot Robbie in anything.
Yeah, I'm like, I can live with those. Those are pretty good. But no, like, listen, some characters are just who they are. Like. I don't really understand the point. Like, just stop trying to be the one that like, oh, I'm so edgy. I made Michael Jordan the torch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't. Yeah, you can tick boxes elsewhere. Like, yeah. Let's not mess with the core. Like people are already skeptical after Fan Four Stick. Let's not. Let's not give them a reason.
I'll tell you, and I think we already had this conversation. About the Little Mermaid, how initially I was kind of like, well, Ariel is who she is, but I'm 100% on board having seen it's Haley, right?
Yeah.
I'm 100% on board for her being Ariel. I don't the movie still might be dog water. I've actually heard some negative things about it.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be dog water.
Yeah.
But her singing is fantastic.
But like the singing parts, because this is definitely a movie where like all of the Disney princess movies, there's always like some singing stuff, and like her singing, the stuff that I've seen has just been phenomenal. And it's like, okay, I understand why you fall in love with that voice for this casting, and it's fine,
Yeah, the movie around it is probably dog water, but the soundtrack probably. Well, we'll see it, but we'll see how the other some of the songs are. But her performance will not be the issue in terms of singing. I know she's great.
You cannot sell me on Mila Kunis as the Thing ever, even if it's the Thing. Okay, there's no scenario in which the introduction of the Fantastic Four to the MCU should be with She Thing, who even in the comics was an absolute joke. I honestly saw somebody like excited about it, and I was like, no, that like shut up.
Well, never underestimate Mark. I mean, we'll see what's going on because we know the writer's strike is going on, and it's delayed some productions. I know they shut down a day of shooting for the Wonder Man show with protesters. Blade is on pause. James Gunn was smart enough to turn in his Superman Legacy script before the strike started, so that's going completely swimmingly. But I don't know. I generally support workers in general, but I don't know. It could definitely be hard to sympathize with Hollywood individuals, especially with the quality of the writing we've seen in a lot of stuff. And I was laughing when someone brought up the Chat GPT as a potential scab for her. I don't think they're allowing them to do it, but I was just thinking, like, looking at some of the quality of just what Disney has put out in the last few years. I think 100% I could put out something better in ChatGPT. Just give me an hour on ChatGPT with some prompting, and I could get you a better script than a lot of stuff that Disney's turned in.
Yeah. I have nightmares about the last writer's strike. I think the last one was like around 2006, 2007 or so, right? And
it was a while back in the olden days.
It happened. There's a show that I loved. It was Jericho. I don't know if you remember Jericho.
I love Jericho. It's a great show.
One of my favorite shows of all time. And it happened. The second season was going on when the writer's strike happened, and they never recovered. Like, legitimately never recovered. And it ended up kind of getting the terrible ending, you know. And it was one of those first shows where like the actual like the internet kind of saved it a little bit, because they were outright canceled, and like there was so much support that they were like, all right, fine, you can have these couple more episodes, and if it goes well, we'll continue. They actually filmed 2 endings to it, and we were either going to get the good ending or the bad ending. And if we got the bad ending, it meant the show was over. If we got the good ending, it meant we were going to get a season 3.
Yeah, got the bad ending.
We got the bad ending.
Yeah. Unfortunately, casualty of the writer's strike. I mean, kind of the upside of so much being dog water is that you're not really running the risk of losing anything right now if they go another 100 days. You know what I mean, I can't speak to how good Wonder Man is going to be, but I mean, Disney Plus is not churning out a lot of great stuff. I mean, like I did enjoy. I haven't finished the season yet, but I like Devil Dinosaur and Moon Girl. It's a pretty decent for Disney Plus, at least. I saw Star Wars Vision season 2 is up, so I gotta get on that because I love season 1. Don't know if season 2 will be as good, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, I couldn't watch anything. Like, I'm just behind on everything because my laptop was not.
Yeah, I'm behind on a lot of stuff too. I have animated catch up on. I'm still working on my script for my Flash video. I got to do the Star Wars Jazz Survivor stream. I still haven't watched the new season of the Flash, the actual Flash. I hear at least the episode 9 and 10 are really good. So I want to at least finish the final season. Not caught up on Superman and Lois. So yeah, I definitely understand. There's so much content, so much to watch. It's tough. Don't you dare, Eastwood, slander me in the chat by claiming that I love Well, I do love She-Hulk. I don't love the MC She-Hulk. How dare you? How dare you? But we'll see how long this strike lasts. I'm not sure if they're going to get what they want this time around, because the situation's changed a lot of cases. they seem to be under the impression that there's more money to be had, and I think a big part of that is streaming. And I have a hard time believing that they're going to get a lot of money out of people, especially with Disney, laying off so many people and literally losing billions of dollars every quarter on Disney Plus. A lot of these I think HBO Max might have been the only streaming service that actually made money this quarter. And if they're looking for a bigger cut of that pie, it's not happening because it should be obvious to most people, but common sense isn't common. These companies lie about the streaming numbers. Like there's a reason they're not completely transparent. So I think a lot of these streaming companies, especially lately, have been losing money, and I don't think the writers are going to be able to convince anyone up there that they're worth getting more out of in terms of residuals, especially since the quality of the writing lately across Hollywood has been noticeably bad. Like I think we could actually see this. I actually predict that we might see a bit of a purge in Hollywood in terms of writing. I think we'll see more established people stick around, and a lot of the newer, more amateur ones that are probably enthusiastically out there are probably going to get cut to the side because they're realizing, well, we tried it, we're losing a lot of money here, and we ChatGPT is now an option if we want some lowbrow stuff. So I can definitely see the writer strike not going well for the writers this time around, because it's just a different environment.
You remember that kid that interrupted the Game Awards?
The Bill Clinton kid?
Yeah. I saw he was at the writer's strike, harassing people with he had signs for like landlord appreciation, and they were like, landlords are great, we should respect landlords. It was kind of funny, actually.
That kid gets around. I don't know what his deal is. Yeah. Every clip I see of him is different and completely random.
I saw somebody say the greatest thing about him. They said that kid's parents definitely have fuck you money.
Oh, for sure. It definitely feels like that. I saw someone share a clip of him where he was on some podcast talking to like some OnlyFans models, and he was basically calling them dumb and saying their generation is dumb, and saying they couldn't name 10 books.
yeah, name 10 books.
And the girl said Game of Thrones and Twilight series, and I immediately was like, oh.
Yeah, I actually did see that. I didn't know that they were, though. I just knew there was like a female podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I feel like a lot of people can't name 10 books in general, let alone 10 books that they've read. I think that's been a growing trend. The no secret, the American public school system has been failing spectacularly, and plus the internet, a lot of people are reading stuff online, if they're reading at all, or they're watching stuff. So I definitely think there's not many people, a surprising amount of people, I would say, that you run into would not be able to name 10 books, let alone 10 books that they've read in their lives.
I mean, all of mine are Star Wars books, probably. So
proud. Yeah, it was like, but even then, at least you could probably name the books.
Yeah.
I read
the Raven book. I read the Palpatine book. Not Palpatine. Plagueis. There's a Plagueis book. Darth Plagueis the Wise.
It's actually been a while since I've actually read a book. I think like a physical. I have a literal library downstairs. But
what's funny is I bought the Jedi Survivor prequel, and I brought it with me when I went to the Redfall event, and I read like the first like 15 or 20 pages, and I haven't touched it since. And I brought it with me to New York this weekend, or the last couple of days, and again did not read it, even though I was like bored out of my mind. I wasn't bored enough to read the book.
I think
But at this point, I kind of know things, so
I think I'm trying to remember the last book that I actually sat down and read, because I read I read a lot of articles. I read a lot of obviously emails, news, and stuff like that. So I'm reading, but not actual books. I think I usually like to read for fun, because I'm usually reading something technical all day. But I think the last actual book I read was this probably a Skullduggery Pleasant. This is this book series that I loved I got into like maybe 10 years ago or something. And I found out that the author is still putting out new stuff. So I was reading it. It's a really fun story. Definitely recommend it for young adults as well. You know, if you like magic and karate and stuff like that, yeah, and humor, you're in for a treat. But in general, yeah, I've read a lot of books in my life, but since I became a content creator, I have not just had the time to sit down and read an actual book. It's something I want to get into if I have when I want to one of the reasons I want to make more money is because I'm telling myself, if I have more money, I can have more free time, and then I can just kick back and read a book and just enjoy it, because I do love reading. But if I'm reading something these days, it's probably something about AI, or something about how to grow on YouTube, or something about SEO, or something like that. It's nothing fun. But if I could, I would definitely dive into my backlog. I see we got a few readers in the chat that don't just read Star Wars. You read for
I am watching the Celtics game. Joel Embiid just curb stomped Williams, not purposely, but it was an absolute curb stomp and made him look a little uglier somehow.
Well, shout out to Joe.
Bleeding everywhere.
Shout out to JoJo. Hope Williams is okay. But shout out to the Sixers. Hope they blow the Celtics out.
Well, they're down 8 with 5 minutes left. Does not mean they're gonna lose. But yeah, like an absolute curb stomp, because he was falling backwards and his foot came down on the back of his head and his face just went plow right into the, like, his nose is already flat and now it is like Kyrie Irving thinks the earth is.
I see his replay. Do you ever do Jedi Mind just wants to know if we ever do audiobooks. I don't think I listen to podcasts. I cannot get into audio. I could not do audio. I've been tempted to try audiobook maybe once or twice when like the author or someone like famous is that I like is reading, but no, general, it's just the way I read books wouldn't be necessarily conducive to audio, because when I'm actually reading a book, I like to I like to use my imagination. I kind of zone in and like visualize everything like it's a movie, and kind of play it out. Like I visualize what the characters will look like. I kind of cast them in my own way, get the voices, everything like that. I get really involved with it. So having someone else reading it for me, I'm like, nah, I'm not. I'm not like I would probably get through more books if I listen to audiobooks. Just let it play in the background. But I just, when it comes to like reading books for fun, I specifically am old school in that I want to read it myself. I don't want to have anyone else doing it.
Yeah, I understand that. I've thought about it, but I just forget. If I'm being honest.
So that we don't disappoint Bill Clinton kid, can you recommend some books, Jay, that you've read? Doesn't have to be 10.
I mean, we recommend comics. I read comics more than books, though. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's definitely my thing. Is more comics. I mean, honestly, like I said, the last books that I probably read were all Star Wars books. And as much as I love Darth Revan, I actually did not. I did not like the story of his book. The Darth Plagueis book though is really cool.
Okay.
Because that one, like I know everybody remembers, like when I think it was either episode 2 or 3. It's like, did anybody ever tell you of the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise? When Palpatine is talking to Anakin.
You should do audiobooks.
I probably could, you know. I've always wanted to like possibly get into voice acting.
Same.
But in any event, it's a good book because Plagueis was Sidious's master. So he was Palpatine was the apprentice to Plagueis. And it's a really, really interesting read and explains a lot actually.
I don't think I've ever read, well, not lately. I've not read much. I don't think I've actually read any Star Wars books. I think when it comes to Star Wars media, it's only been books. It's only been TV or movies. So I'm not the one to ask about Star Wars, but I did read a variety. I've read I love a good graphic novel, love some manga obviously, but read a lot of novels in my day. I used to literally work at a bookstore. So you know, before it shut down, I was working at one of the Borders books superstores. So I had a lot of opportunities.
The biggest recommendation I could give is Annihilation, which is a Marvel Comics storyline. It is such an amazing story. It is the reason I love Nova. It also is how Guardians of the Galaxy, this run of Guardians of the Galaxy, kind of got together. And one of the writers on it, Bill Roseman.
Oh, there you go. Shout out to Bill Roseman. Definitely to check out. I guess I could recommend a variety of stuff for a variety of tastes. So in terms of comics, well, graphic novels, obviously I'm a big fan of Wanted. I thought that was a fantastic run. More on the edgy side. They made a movie adaptation that doesn't really do the comic justice, though understandable. That's definitely wasn't a wide appeal type of thing they could do. That's more like a dark, really really dark streaming type of show if they wanted to make a proper adaptation. But that I thought that was a pretty cool comic about this guy who finds out that he's the son of this legendary assassin, and he lives in this world of superheroes where his father ends up being, is actually a member of this famous corps of supervillains. So that one's pretty good. If you're more into the hard sci-fi, you like to read something that makes you think about the universe and stuff like that, I definitely recommend books from Robert J. Sawyer. My favorite so far has been Calculating God, which was a really good novel about kind of one of my favorite alien stories. Instead of aliens coming and just being brutal savages trying to kill everyone, this one is actually, no, they actually are really smart and just, chilling, trying to share knowledge. So this alien comes and visits a museum of all places because he just strikes up this conversation and friendship with an employee there because his civilization is doing research, and they basically think that they know where God literally is. So they've been gathering information, talking to different species, trying to understand evolution and everything like that. And they ultimately plan to do this collaborative space flight across the universe where they're trying to actually meet God. And I thought it was a pretty mind-blowing concept, and it was very well done. Excellently written book. Highly recommend it. And if you're into like something more casual, like you like zombies, you like superheroes, definitely recommend Peter Klein's X series. The first one is X Heroes. It's about a world of superheroes where they fail to stop a zombie apocalypse, and we're left with the remnants of those heroes trying to defend the survivors in a post-apocalyptic zombie world. Really great series. Definitely recommend it.
All right, I put the curb stomp in chat.
Ooh.
You got to show everybody the curb stomp.
Can I? Well, we're not going. Not like we're not like monetized, so it'll probably be fine. Actually, I could probably just bring it up on. Actually, yeah. Let me just.
I couldn't find like the zoomed in version of it.
The Twitter version.
Yeah, but like that's. I mean, you can very clearly see the absolute curb stomp on it.
Ooh.
Like, watch just his face blam. Like that, and he's back in the game, but he was bleeding everywhere.
Ooh.
Blah. Yeah. I also realized that I was like minutes behind.
That's a big boy.
Yeah.
700 pounds, 7 foot 300 pounds.
Yeah.
280, 270. I don't know. He lost some weight.
Yeah, that was
But hope they lose. We got. Let's see in the chat. You still like the Wanted movie? Yeah, but you probably liked it because of that partially nude Angelina Jolie scene. that's probably, and it had Morgan Freeman in it. Can't say curb anymore. It's just the stomp.
No, I mean, first of all, apologies because I always forget that there's Twitch chat. So Jedi probably thinks I'm like ignoring him all the time, and I don't see it.
Boomer.
Yeah, well, I guess. But Seth Rollins in WWE, his move is called the curb stomp. So
wrestling, yeah, it's not real, Jay.
Real to me, damn it.
It's I still have not watched any wrestling, but I did recently use a clip of The Rock and as a reaction as part of one of my videos. So that's good. I just needed a clip of someone saying "finally," and I was like, "Oh, The Rock says that." Let me find a clip of that.
Yeah,
it makes me miss those days, but yeah, I have zero interest in current wrestling.
it's funny because Bad Bunny is wrestling right now.
Bad Bunny, really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And let me just tell you something. You see a lot of celebrities do wrestling, and it's like, God, they're obviously getting paid. Bad Bunny, if he wasn't like a megastar in music, he could legitimately be a WWE wrestler. Like, he is legitimately good.
I'm guessing he's better than Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. I bet he can knock out Floyd Mayweather. I'm kidding. He's legit, like, he had a match at WrestleMania last year, and people were like, they're just expecting him to get carried, and like that was kind of the whole point. But no, he was doing like top tier moves. It was crazy.
Top tier fake moves. Nice. he was really selling it. He was really putting it over, or whatever wrestling nonsense y'all say.
I mean, I think Sadat's like he's fronting on us because putting over is exactly what it's called. And
I literally just made that up. I had no idea that's what it was called. I'm not one of you nerds. I don't know all this wrestling terminology. The last time I watched wrestling was when I was like 10.
This guy just spent 10 minutes recommending manga, and he's not a nerd.
I'm not that type of nerd. Also, I did not recommend a single manga. I recommended Wanted, which is a graphic novel. Everything else I recommended are straight novels. But if you're in the market for manga, definitely recommend Chainsaw Man and Mashle Magic and Muscle. Very good.
Well, I already told you I tuned you out. I was watching the Celtics game, so
yeah, you don't matter. We're talking to the chat. I'm giving the chat the benefit of my brilliant recommendations.
I could not possibly offer anything to what you were saying, and sometimes I just know when to get out of the way, and I think that is like the sign of a very good relationship between working partners. It's like, oh, he cooking, I'm gonna let him cook.
Damn right.
Did I do that right? The boomer over here, right?
You actually used that correctly. I'm surprised.
I spent the last 2 days being told, no way you're that old.
Oh, that's a compliment.
Yeah, I get it a lot, but I don't know.
You don't look a day over 50.
I don't think I look 50.
No.
I feel 50.
You look like a solid 36.
That's what I get, and I guess I could take that. My beard is getting way more gray though. I notice it more. I think it's the longer it gets, the more I notice it. So yeah, I'm definitely
not looking forward to that.
Yeah,
I gotta keep my facial hair black.
Somebody brought up a point today that there are people that go gray like in their 20s. So yeah. my cousin Kevin is one of those people. So
yeah, I feel like George Clooney was born gray.
Right?
He just came out with salt and pepper hair.
Yeah. So it does not appear as though you're going to get the Celtics L tonight.
Cap.
Although I have definitely seen them blow bigger leads in less time.
There's still time.
I don't know. It is Doc Rivers though.
Yeah, that's true. All right. So I'm gonna get out of here so we can watch the rest and hopefully make fun of Jay if the Celtics end up blowing this lead. Appreciate everyone for hanging out for another edition of the After Show. At some point, we'll see about getting Uncle Dim. I was already over.
Yeah, I don't know what's going. I watch my games on ESPN .com.
Oh, you're literally just behind.
And yeah, the game's over. They won by 12.
Let's do it.
So I had 40 seconds left.
Rigged.
Which is going to be 10 minutes. But anyway.
Rigged.
Yeah.
Rigged. So, we'll hopefully we'll have a PlayStation showcase to talk about this month, and whenever that goes down, we'll have an after show recapping everything, and hopefully we could get some developers on as well. Looking forward to that. A lot of fun, especially if we get some people from Insomniac to chat a little bit about the game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll have the spoiler review of Guardians 3 once Jay sees it, and so probably look forward to that next Friday.
I will definitely see it before next Friday because Sadat's already said too much for me. And to be fair, he didn't really say that much, but it's and I'm sure he understands, it's just knowing a little bit about character shifts and stuff is enough to plant it in your head and go with a little bit of expectation. And I'm not mad about it at all or anything. I'm just saying that's when I was like, all right, I was before, now I'm watching the game so I can tune him out a little bit and let him just keep going because it's fine. But yeah, anyway.
Yeah, I want any spoilers because I think Jay is going to absolutely love this movie. So I'm looking forward to it. It would be absolutely hilarious if you hated it.
I can't imagine that. Honestly,
I would honestly be shocked if you didn't love this movie. Legitimately. So appreciate everyone. Appreciate Jab Montrix for the gifties, Capte, Old Man Eastwood, Lucky Ray. Appreciate Hoarder Gamer stopping through as well to a lot of your plays. We appreciate all of the support. Nava Flow. You guys make this podcast fun to do every week. Hopefully one day Casual Avenger will put down the deep dish and get back on here. But in the meantime, me and Jay will be holding it down. I'm Sadat the Gamer.
I am Jay Shockblast.
Zip it up and zip it out.